Have you seen the absolute state of this team? Look at the state of it. Interestingly enough, if I had recorded this video before the deadline, I wouldn't be saying look at the state of the team. I'd be saying this team is fantastic. I am happy with this team. But because some games have been played, I have obviously made the mistake of not picking players who went on to score points. I mean, it was obvious. It's obvious now, isn't it? Absolutely obvious. Okay, I'm going to explain my decisions, explain how I made the right process but got the wrong outcomes, and I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to answer questions such as, why you no have Elise? Why you no have Yamal? Why you got 4 Liverpool player in Turkey? Everybody know you go to Turkey, you get new teeth, you get butt implant. You don't go play good football in Turkey. Shit like this, pardon my French, excrement like this. Even somebody's piping up, why did I not have Alvarez in my team? Alvarez. We're completely ignoring the fact that I had Alvarez in my team the previous round, where he only got 1 point because he got taken off after 58 minutes. Which is why I didn't have him last night. Sorloth was on the bench. It was obviously he was going to come on. Alvarez was going to get taken off. 4 minutes for Atletico Madrid players aren't great. Why have I not got Alvarez? It was obvious the goalkeeper was going to gift him a goal and gift him an assist, wasn't it? Why have I not got Elise? Elise's on a yellow card. Elise hasn't scored since January. Oh, it was obvious he was going to score 2 goals last night, wasn't it? Absolute nonsense. After timing is off the charts. I know that I've got fans all around the world, and they may not be familiar with the phrase after timing. After timing is when somebody comes in after the event. All cocky, like, oh, it was obvious that was going to happen. No, making predictions is hard, okay? If you're so convinced of what was going to happen, was always going to happen, why don't you put some money on it? Making money, gambling is hard, but after timing is easy, like your mother. Moving on, this is right on the left. What happened? Projections for last night. On the right, projections for next week. Now, I'm gonna repeat myself. I watched a few videos of other content creators, and as usual, it was dull as fuck. And either dull as fuck and or clueless. I am neither. Okay? These content creators are just like, look at the fixtures and go, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have him. I'll have him. They don't think about next week, which is what I was thinking about. They don't think about who's on yellow cards. They don't think about how likely teams are to qualify. Like most people have used the chips. If you have a few shocks, your teams go out, you haven't got a wildcard chip to get you out of trouble. Anyway, looking here, all my players came from this section here. Looking ahead to next week, all my players are in, mouse isn't working, not good, are in this section here. My team may not have got the points, but it's well set up for next week as well. And in the weeks ahead, and for next round. Why didn't I have Alvarez? I mean, Alvarez, well, it was a choice between, he wasn't an option actually, Alvarez, from what I've just stated. But looking at this here, Atletico Madrid here, Liverpool here, and next week, Atletico are right here. They're away from home, away to Spurs. I mean, Spurs, they were awful last night. But Liverpool, Ekitike, there he is. People are saying, why have you got 4 Liverpool players? Well, look ahead to next week. It doesn't look so good when they have an absolute stinker in Turkey, but it can happen. It can happen when you have 4 players from a team and that team just happens to not play well. But I am happy to have 4 Liverpool players for next week, and Liverpool are still favourites to qualify. Forward options. There's only 4 people on my radar. Harry Kane, who unfortunately, despite all the predicted lineup saying he was going to start, didn't start. Harry Kane was always going to be in my team. Haaland, he's the best captain tonight. I'm going to captain him. And plus you can see how Man City have got are favoured away to Real Madrid, and obviously going to be even more favoured when they're at home to Madrid next week. The other slot was between Luis Diaz of Bayern Munich and Ekitike I went for Ekatike. I wanted to have him in my team. Unfortunately, he didn't kick the ball in the goal. Other than that, so yellow cards, a lot of people just haven't like thought about yellow cards as much. I've seen some teams, they've got like 4 yellow cards in them. Assuming you've used your chips, you have 3 before next week and then 5 after that. So next week, for the next round, you need to have at least 10 players in your team. If you've got players who have got themselves suspended, it's another reason why you're not going to have as many players. Could get suspended, could get injured, your team could get knocked out. All these factors need to be considered to make sure that you can get 15 players out the next round. Yamal. So Elise was in my team. He was the only one I was thinking of going with who was on a yellow card. In the end, I decided against him for the reasons I've just stated. Brought in Rafinha. Didn't go well, did it? Yamal, the similar reason. If I remember back to, I think it was Matchday 6, I had Yamal in my team. I wildcarded. Brought Yamal in my team. He was on 2 yellow cards then. I think this is away to Club Brugge. 4 points, got himself yellow carded, so I had to transfer him out the next match day. I took the risk then, and it did not pay off. Some people took the risk last night, and it did pay off. That's fantasy football for you. That's, honestly, as a Newcastle fan, that game last night, Yamal should have been yellow carded in the first half, but he got the superstar privilege, and the referee bottled it. And then he does nothing all game, pretty much, and then gets a penalty in the last minute and tucks it away. I'm not happy about that. I don't want to dwell on that too much. Who else? I've talked about Rafinha, no, Elise, Yamal, Upamecano. Another player I was considering, but he's on 2 yellow cards. He got an assist last night. He's not going to play next week. So people with Elise and Upamecano, if you had Elise, you've done very well, haven't you? You got 19 points, but you do have to transfer him out, as he's definitely not going to play next week. The same with Upamecano. Yamal will play next week, unfortunately. Nuno Mendes is another popular player on 2 yellow cards. I'm not too keen on having. I wasn't too keen on having PSG players. It's interesting how there'll be a list of players who are on yellow cards, and it gets passed around, and people just copy it. And there was one player who was missed off the list. I don't think he's that highly owned, but Vinny Jr., I'm sure, is on 2 yellow cards, and all these lists, all these tweets that got sent out didn't have him on. And there you go, he's on 2 yellow cards, 1 more yellow card, and he's going to miss. So you just have all these people copying, and they don't check. I could have told you that. No players on the yellow card watch on my list until Van Dijk. So you're not just considering the players who are already on 2 yellow cards, or 4 yellow cards like Yamal. Players who've already got in your team who are on 1 yellow card, like Van Dijk was on 1 yellow card, he gets booked 2 yellow cards. So there's another player who might get a suspension in the weeks ahead. Because as I said, I'm not just thinking about last night, I'm thinking about next week and the weeks ahead. So I've used my chips. I need to get through to the end of this round with a minimum of 10 players, so I can use my 5 free transfers to get 15 players out the next round. Those players are going to be injured, suspended, knocked out. So if I take you behind the scenes, have you seen anything like this on the other fucking content creators? You haven't. Sorry about my foul language. I think I'm up to 3 swear words during the course of this video already. These are the matchups and the likelihood of each time qualifying. So we're separated into last night and tonight. These are from at the start of the round, so they have not been changed. I'm trying to show you my thought process pre-deadline. Liverpool, look at that. 3rd favourite to qualify, which is why, one of the reasons why I had 4 players from them. 4 players from Arsenal is, as the Americans would say, a no-brainer. Arsenal. Favourites for the competition. If Arsenal get through, they will play Bodo or Sporting. And I have got triple Arsenal defence. I've got Raya, who's going to come in. I'll just put it back to this week. Raya's going to come in for Garcia. Quick point, Garcia. The only good thing about Garcia is he's cheap. You don't want to be spending too much on goalkeepers. Garcia, best thing about him, he's cheap. I think I've had him for 3 or 4 match days and he hasn't kept a clean sheet yet. But I am going big on the Arsenal. Got 4 Arsenal players, triple defence and Rice. Plenty of people have Rice in their FPL team and they're turning their noses up at Rice in the UCL fantasy. He's cheap. He's going to play. He gets a point for a clean sheet being a midfielder. He's good for recoveries. He's got a good chance of a decent chance for his price for a goal or assist. I think he's a good pick. Arsenal are very likely to qualify and very likely to get through against Bodo or Sporting. Going back to what I was previously talking about. So this is why, looking ahead here, so I've gone for the favourites. So a lot of people are saying, why are you having 4 Liverpool players? Because Liverpool are a good chance of qualifying. I would have had more than 2 Bayern Munich players. The ones that I considered, Elise, Kimmich, Upamecano, all on yellow cards. I like Diaz, but I liked other forwards more. Harry Kane not playing was a bit of a shock. Another reason for Bayern Munich is they're very likely to qualify, but they'll play one of Real Madrid or Man City next round. Tough match up there. So putting this all together, my chances, as it's stood before the deadline, of getting at least 10 players, 83% chance. People who have used their chips wouldn't have considered these percentages when they're having Bodo Glimt players in their team. I've talked about after time, and I'm talking about recency bias here. Bodo Glimt are overrated. We need to get a grip here. People with all these forwards I've mentioned, and people are having a Bodo Glimt player in their team, a Bodo Glimt forward. So if you were to look at these charts right here, would you be thinking, I need to get a Bodo Glimt forward? I'm going to ignore the big hitters here. Haaland's away to Real Madrid. I'm going to get a Bodo Glimt forward. And it's one of 2 Bodo Glimt forwards. That right there shows you there is not one talisman forward for Bodo Glimt. If there's a choice between 2 of them, that's their home fixture there. Slight favourites against Sporting next week, all the way down there. I'm sure if Bodo Glimt do pull another result out of the bag, I'll be, oh, it's obvious. They beat Inter Milan, they beat Man City. What happened was always going to happen. I could be a bit more scathing and say, if you've got a Bodo Glimt forward in your team, I mean, that's like a bold move. I want to click here. It's not let me click here. Anyway, there's 2 forwards, Haig or Hoff for, I think it's Hoff or Hogue for Bodo Glimt. I'm not a fan of that pickup at all. If you're doing that to be different, I understand. But if you're doing that thinking one of those 2 Bodo Glimt forwards are the top forwards in the game, I think you've been on crack, basically. You need to put the crack pipe down or the battery acid or whatever you're doing and choose a different forward. I'm not a fan of those picks at all. Going back here, this is the reasons why I need to get through next round 10 players in my team. At least. Yeah. Sporting, I'm not too bad, not too down on Sporting players, but those are the players I do prefer. I'm still happy with the choices I made. I just don't think it just didn't pay off. And when you go big on one team, like Liverpool, 4 players, and they have a stinker, it just doesn't look good, does it? But that's fantasy football for you. What am I going to do tonight? Well, I'm not going to leave the captaincy on Kane for a start. I'm going to whack it on Haaland. Obviously, these 3 players, Kane, Szoboszlai, and Rafinha, will go out the team for the bench boys. Raya will come on for Joan Garcia. I mean, I can't be choosing a bloke called Joan for a start, can you? That's my first mistake, or one of my mistakes. Triple Arsenal defence. I would much appreciate a clean sheet by Arsenal. That would be lovely jubbly. And a good Man City performance. That's what I need. I think I've covered all the options. I think I've got it all. It's been quite therapeutic. It's quite cathartic to get it all out. So thank you for watching.